Hello.
Hi.
Tell me your name.
My name is Gloria Reiman.
Okay, can you spell that?
R-E-I, Gloria, Gloria, Reiman, R-E-I-M-A-N,
And how long have you been living in Dallas?
since 1970.
And what brought you to Dallas?
My husband was accepted for a residency at Parkland, so we moved here from Montreal.
And what kind of doctor is your husband?
An obstetrician gynecologist.
Very nice. Where did you live in Dallas?
Our first apartment was on Spring Valley Road, and we lived there while he trained. Then we moved to California. Then when we came back here, we bought a house on Bluefield
And where in California were you living?
in Los Angeles.
And what did he do in Los Angeles? I mean, what hospital?
What hospital were you at? I don't know.
I
Sentinel
worked for
Hospital?
1 year at Valley, Panorama City, and the other one at Sentinel Valley.
He worked in Los Angeles in the Valley, and then at Sentinel Hospital.
And you moved back to Dallas, and you did,
And he started his own practice when we moved back to Dallas.
and what is his name?
Lionel Reiman.
Lionel Reiman. Okay. And what was it like in Montreal when growing up in Montreal? What was the Jewish life like?
The Jewish life in Montreal was great. There was about 250,000 Jews, and we lived in a Jewish neighborhood, and I went to a Jewish people's school, which was called Volksschule. It was a Jewish day school.
Spell that.
Jewish people's school?
No, Volks.
Well, that's in Yiddish, Volksschule.
Oh, Volksschule. Yiddish is Volksschule.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was called Jewish People's School. It was a Jewish day school. We learned Jewish, French, and English, because French and English were, what you learned in Montreal, and then we learned Jewish and a little bit of Hebrew. And then when I went to high school, there were 1,500 students, and 1,490 were Jewish. And then I went to McGill, which was very highly Jewish. Well, not as much, but.
Tell me about your parents.
My mother was born in Poland and came over to Montreal when she was about 8 years old.
And what year?
I have no clue. She is 93 now.
She came over in the 1920. 28. She was 8 years old.
1928, she came from Poland to Montreal.
To Montreal.
And what about your father?
My father came from Russia to Montreal when he was 15 years old.
Did they meet in Montreal?
They met in Montreal. Uh-huh.
Do they have any other children? You have brothers and sisters?
I have a sister,
And what's her name?
Brenda Dubin.
And where does she live?
She lives in Plano.
And she has children?
She has 2 children,
And what are their names?
Julie Sutker and Shelley Lumstein.
Oh, very nice. And tell me about your children here.
I have 4 children. My oldest daughter is Susie Hacker. She lives here in Dallas. She's married to Howard Hacker. She has 3 children.
And what are their names?
Carly, Evan, and Morgan.
How old are they?
Carly is almost 14.
And where does she go to school?
Solomon Schechter. They all go to all 7 of my grandchildren go to Solomon Schechter.
That's
I
wonderful.
have 7 children, and they all go to that school.
Great school.
Yeah.
What about your other 2 grandchildren that?
Well, Susie's son is 11, and she has a son that's 7.
Okay, and tell me about your other grandchildren.
My older son has 2 daughters. Michael, he's married to Melissa, and
What was her maiden name?
Walsh. And they have 2 children, Jolie, who is 10, and Shyler, who is 4.
How do they all like going to Schechter together?
Oh, they love it.
Levine.
Yeah, Libby. I still call it Schechter from when my kids went there. 3 of my 4 kids went there. And Susie went to Akiva.
Oh, okay.
And then my other son,
Susie
Steve.
Reiman?
Yes. And then, well, her married name is Hacker.
Right, and where did your son go?
Solomon Schechter also.
No,
Oh, what do you mean?
growing up.
Growing up, he went to Levine Academy, Solomon Schechter.
Okay.
And all my 3 younger kids all went to Schechter, and Susie went to Akiva because Schechter wasn't around.
Okay.
And Stephen Reiman lives here with his wife, Risha Coppell, and they have 2 children. They have a daughter that's 4 and a son that's...
What's his name?
2. Stephen.
The-
The sons?
Yes.
His son's name is Pearson, and his daughter's name is Danny.
Very nice.
And then my youngest one is 27. Her name is Alyssa, and she's getting ready to hopefully get her PhD in history. She's studying she's studying European Jewish history, Italian,
At what school?
University of Michigan.
University of Michigan. And she's in
Italy
Rome.
now, yeah. She does her research on, European Italian Jews.
So what was the difference of living in Canada versus living in Dallas, Texas? Did you take to Dallas right away?
No. No, I thought I was in a wilderness. It was very different. Montreal was a very cosmopolitan city, like New York and France, and 2 languages, and very, very different. And I moved here, and I thought I was in the wasteland. I lived on Spring Valley. There were no sidewalks. It was rough, but got used to it and ended up coming back here. So,
What are your hobbies?
I'm an artist. I paint.
Do you show your stuff at any
I used to,
show?
but I used to, but I don't now because I paint for my kids and all their multiple houses that they've had over the years. They keep changing decor, and I keep changing my paintings.
Did you take lessons? How did you learn to paint?
Well, actually, I always painted in Montreal. I took some lessons, and when I came here, I had an elderly aunt, Eva Goldfarb, and she was painting, and she said, my maiden name is Goldfarb. And she said, you're a Goldfarb, you can paint. So I started painting, taking classes, and I've done it for all those years.
Are you related to Ali Goldfarb?
Yeah, she was my aunt, my cousin.
Oh, very nice.
Mike's father, Mike Goldfarb, Mike's father and my father were related. Mike's father and my father were brothers, actually.
Very nice. So you were first cousins?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, how do you think Dallas has changed since you moved to Dallas?
Well, I think it's changed drastically. I think, the Jewish community is much fuller now, much more choices of where to go, and I just think it's very different. Also, I love living here now. And when I moved here, having the Goldfarb relatives, made a huge difference for us adjusting. They took care of us. They sort of adopted us under their wing. And
Did you go to a synagogue here?
yes, we've always been at Tiferet Israel.
Tiferet Israel. Very nice. Okay. How long have you been married?
45 years.
45 years. Very nice. Let me see. Tell me what your children do.
My daughter is a social worker, and she is a school counselor, and she works for Jewish Family Service. And so she's a school counselor at Akiba and Emmanuel and some of the temples, mostly Akiba.
And your other, I
And-
know your youngest one's getting the PhD.
Yeah, my older son is a financial planner. He has his own company, Reiman Financial.
Okay.
And my younger son is a radiologist.
Very nice. Okay, let me see. Are you in any organizations in Dallas?
I don't do it that much anymore. Now that I have grandkids, I'm busier with the grandkids, and with the one thing I kept doing was the art and that kind of stuff. But I was involved in ORT and ZOA. I was very involved in ZOA.
Very nice. I want to pause it a minute.
Sure. Okay.
Tell me about your 93-year-old mother that's still living in Montreal.
She's doing well. Mentally, she's in and out, but she's physically doing okay now. And we go back to see her as often as we can. We see her every other month usually, and my sister fills in the time, so she gets quite a bit of company, except in the winter. The last time I've seen her now is December, because we were caught in a horrible snowstorm in December, so we thought we'll wait till April to go back. But otherwise, we see her pretty often.
And what is her name?
Rose Birnbaum is her maiden name.
Rose Birnbaum. And what
her
was your
married name
father's? What was your?
Okay, well, my father's name was Goldfarb, but my
That's
father
right.
died when I was 5, and she remarried, so her name is Fruchthandler.
Spell that.
Fruchthandler.
Okay, that's fine. So, and where does she live?
She lives in a retirement home, but she has her own apartment. It's called the Waldorf in Montreal on Côte Saint Luc Road, where all the Jewish people live in Côte Saint Luc.
Now, tell me a little bit about your 4 children and how often they went back to Canada to visit their relatives and.
Well, we went back pretty often because my parents were there and had a lot of aunts and uncles. We also met up with them in Florida a lot because they were snowbirds, so we met them in Florida. So a lot of the Canadians came down to Florida, and Christmas holidays we usually spent in Florida rather than going to Montreal. But they've been to Montreal a lot, and they've been to Israel a lot to see his family that's in Israel. We went every other summer to Israel with them, so they're very, very tied to Israel. Especially my oldest daughter, who now does the same thing with her kids and goes every other summer, their whole family to Israel.
Very
and
nice.
They stay on a kibbutz for a couple months, and it's been great.
Do they stay in the same kibbutz every time?
Yeah, we have relatives on kibbutz Gadot, so that's where they stay.
And where is kibbutz Gadot?
It's in the north. It's in the north, right below Syria.
Very nice. By Tiberias?
Yes.
Okay. What are you most proud of in your life?
I don't want to cry.
Cry.
I'm most proud of my family, my husband and my children. I'm very, very proud of them.
It seems like you've done a beautiful job. Is there anything you'd like to add?
No,
To
just
this
that I've been
interview?
very lucky, and I'm very fortunate that I met the right guy, married the right guy, and had great kids, and moved here because my life here has been very good.
So what? Your oldest granddaughter is a 8th grader.
Yes.
At Levine.
Yeah, she's getting ready to go to Israel, actually. And we have actually family that is going to come up and meet her on her day off and everything, so it'll be fun for her. 'Cause
And where's she going to go next year?
she's going to go to Pierce High School.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay. Well, I appreciate your interview.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
You have a very beautiful story.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Thank you.